Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Contactlost, our mini-series Round Zero pairings, where tonight, along with my co-host Danny,
Bonjour.
we're hosting Nico from Team China.
Hello everyone.
Hello, and you get the whole session to yourself because of reasons. So good for you, or maybe not. We'll see.
Big
Before we
honor.
begin, a massive thank you to our sponsors, Weyland-Yutani and the Army Painter, as well as our community of Patreons. Now then, Nico, how did Team China form, and where did you get the idea to travel half across the globe to play plastic dollies?
So this is a long story, but we have time, I guess. So I can start it. So basically, it will not be the first WTC for me, or if I should say, I did ETC before. I did it with. So obviously, I'm not Chinese. I'm French.
No.
And yeah,
Are
you
you
can
sure?
get it from my
We had
accent.
no idea.
And so I was with French team in 2014 and 15, and I was as a referee in 2016. And then I traveled to China for work, and I basically stopped playing. And I stopped playing again in 2018 at some time. And because, like, I guess once you have played WTC or ETC, it's like you get addicted to it. Like the normal 40K game is not the same exactly. So one obsession I got was like, okay, let's do it again. So I talk about it with a community in China at that time. Basically, in 2000, end of 2019, we were ready for a team. So I started to be in contact with Tom Adriani for sending him Team China. I even sent him the information in January 2020, and then a big event happened, and basically China disappeared from the world during 3 years, and now we are back. So yeah,
And now you are
this
back.
is how it comes. Yeah.
And have you got like a Team China T-shirt, or is it my
Yeah,
eye
yeah.
deceiving
Wanted to
me
show you.
with a cool
It's
ass
ready.
dragon?
Oh
Like
my
this.
god, that is the coolest shirt ever.
Correct.
Holy shit.
Whoa, yeah, that's definitely up there with the best of them.
Wow, yeah, that is really cool.
Okay.
Thanks.
Uh, right, but so was there like a lot of interest in the local community to go, or you had to talk people into it a lot over a long period of time?
Yeah, so I have been preaching for that. Like I said, like when I started to do again competitions in China, it was not at all about ETC or WTC. It was all about ITC and using UKTC terrains and things like that. And I was like, okay, so let's look at this thing, look at these team events. I think there is something you can like. And so we started. We did a first team event in January 2023. At the moment that we can start to organize again in China public events like that, and people loved it. Like basically, they discovered it and loved it right away. What was very cool for me is that I realized like 3 months or 4 months later there were. So I'm based in Shanghai, which is basically middle of China, and I discovered that 3 months or 4 months later there was other team events organized which has nothing to do with me in Guangzhou, so in south of China, or in Beijing in the north. So it's like people start to like it and to organize their own event like that. So yeah, it started to be more and more popular, and we organize more events in them. And every time we organize events, we have more and more team people coming, more and more people interested. So I guess that interest in this kind of game is rising. I hope that the fact that we send a team this year will also make more people want to see it. I organized an event like in last June, and I already got in June people that were not aware of the fact that we sent a team this year, telling me, "Oh, and what about next year? Can we also join? Can we also candidates to be part of the team?" So yeah, I guess the interest for it's
That's
rising, and
awesome.
yeah, it's amazing. Honestly, it's really
What's
so cool. Yeah.
what's the Chinese community like like size wise? Because I think it's one of the 40K communities not many people know about because it's obviously so far away, and
Mm.
you went obviously a bit quiet during COVID, etc. So do you have like a big playing community, or is it like small pockets across? Because it's also quite a big country, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge country.
That's it.
It's basically like if we were as big as Europe, so it's like distance are
Yeah.
very big. So before a few years ago, like when I arrived in China, what I've seen is that most of tournament, if we can call them tournament, was like very local, small groups tournaments, maybe related to one shop or one club, something like that. And it was like a lot, as you say, a lot of small pockets. And even in one city, you have several pockets of players playing by themselves. Recently, it changed. We start to see the rise of bigger events with like three main areas, like Guangzhou for the south, Shanghai for the center, and Beijing for the north, and with bigger and bigger community, especially in the south. Like south of China now is rising, and they have amazing players, very high level. So I guess that this is the place where it's going to rise. One thing that is interesting in China too is that so there is a very important expat community playing too, and also a Chinese community. And what was difficult for me is that I wanted to involve the Chinese community in it, which is not always the one that is the most motivated to come. But I do like, yes, I'm not Chinese, so I want Team China to be Chinese. So what I said from the beginning is that, okay, I have the experience of previous events. Me, I'm just like to help for the organization, for the logistics, for whatever experience I can bring into it. But basically, I want a Team China. And then we call for candidates from everywhere through contacts I have in the different cities. One big difficulty we have is that big part of Chinese community either they don't speak English or they are shy to speak English for games. So it's a big limit for them. Also, we have to realize how expensive it is to go to Belgium to play. Like, I made a document of presentation to send to everyone to explain what it was about and what was the consequence of the choice and things like that. And basically, the budget is like 4,000 or 5,000 euro per person, so it's a lot of money.
Wow.
Especially because people do not have necessarily so much holidays here, so it's also that like
it's a big investment.
Holidays, yeah, in time and in money. So it's kind of complicated, but we still have many motivated people. At the end, I guess I got like 15 serious candidates that wanted to come, and it reduced a little bit because life made some of them stop down. And in the end, we have a team that is, I'm quite happy about it. It's basically half Chinese and half expats that live in China for like 10 years and something like that, which is nice to see the two community that we see in events playing together and now forming the team. I know that with the time going, we are going to have more and more Chinese going to the event, interested in it. And I guess that at some point we will reach a point where it's a team full China, and I would be very happy about it. But it's cool to see the passion spreading like that and making people want to come back.
So I'm technically an expat because I live in a country where I'm not from. And I see what you mean by you want it to be a full Chinese team. But at the same time, if you've got people that have lived there for like 10 years, they've helped grow this community. To me, they are in essence of 40K still Chinese, right?
Yeah. For sure. I have no problem with that. And by WTC the rules, it counts anywhere as citizen of the country. So it's not even about that. Yeah. It's like it's more about the fact that it will also show the interest of Chinese community, which is nowadays very self-centered because the country is so big and there are so many places to play that they do not necessarily see the need or the idea of going abroad. It will show their interest in that. So I'm more seeing that as a positive thing of the interest that they show. Also, Games Workshop Atlanta events start to get popular here. Like golden tickets start to raise a lot of interest for people in tournaments. So it's cool too.
That sounds amazing.
So, in terms of team selection, how did you narrow down the 15 candidates that you have? Well, what methodology did you use? Training methods or whatever you want to call it?
So first, basically, it was so I send the documents that I spread through different tournaments about what is WTC, what it implies, and things like that. And anyone that was interested can contact me. So they contact me. I ask them just the basic documents about who they are, do they have, are they confident about talking in English, are they ready to pay that much money to spend this much holidays. And also, what do they play? Have they played in tournaments recently, in teams tournaments, and things like that? And then for the selection, it was I did not want to do it by myself. So in fact, I asked two Chinese players that were captain of the team during team events and that are well known in the community. And I asked them with me. We did a group of 3 people and to just rank everyone. And basically we agree on everyone, so it was kind of cool. It was very easy to do.
Nice.
And then we sent to people and we let the other candidates in waiting lists. And in fact, some people have to cancel their involvement and things like that. So the choice was quite natural in the end. We did not have so much choice in the first year. And basically, the list has been really finished last week because our last participants who needed a visa just get it last week. It's also a big issue to get a visa here to go to Belgium. It's not so easy. It takes really long time. I believe they asked for visa in May or April, and they just get the answer. So it was very long.
Yeah, 3 months waiting. Yeah, that's something you really need to have in mind way before.
Yeah, exactly. And so complicated to build a team like that. Like you are just waiting for visa. I was like, okay, so basically we have 2 players that got the answer last week. One of them is playing Grey, so I'm playing Grey, so I was okay. If needed, I could play it. The other one is playing Eldar. There is no way I play Eldar. I have no idea about what it's like. So.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
so,
because maybe I did not say it. I'm not playing, so I'm just a captain coach.
Oh, you're just a non-player captain,
okay.
right? Okay.
Yeah,
That was going to be a question, but if you say it yourself, that's fine. So you kind of made that goal of not playing yourself. Right.
Yeah, it was for me. It was a deal from the beginning. It's like when I write the document about introducing what was the WTC, what was the objective, what was the different things you have to keep in mind, and I wanted to introduce myself also to tell to people why I want to do that, just because I'm passionate about it and I want people to enjoy it and to discover it. And at that point, I was like, okay, I am volunteer to help to organize, to provide my experience, and I don't want to do it to secure a slot for me or to something like that. So I was like totally okay to be coach. I will do War Master, so I will still have my dose of my favorite game, so I'm happy about it. And it was also way easier to have this position of organizer or something like that. As when you are saying, okay, I am not taking a seat, and this is for you. If I needed to step forward, I would have been, but it's easier this way.
Okay, cool. So did you manage to play any team events as like have the people from the team going participate within one team in an event, or did you not get a chance to do anything of the sort?
Yeah. So what we did, as I said, like we start now to have a circuit of tournament of team events in China. So we did like over 1 year and a half. We did 3, so basically 1 every semester. And in the last one, we came as Team China, or people who are going to be as Team China. And the big thing is that we did not win it. We were beaten once by the team winning it, which is a full Chinese team, and we drew against the second one, which is also a full Chinese team. So there are a lot of very high skilled people in this country. I hope that I can make more of them coming last year. But basically, what I say is the team that won the event. So I talked to them at the end. I was like, "Okay, guys, come in, welcome. Let's go to Belgium." And they look at me and they were like, "Man, we are all like between 35 and 45 with big job and kids, and there is no way we do that. It's like this is for the future generation. It's not for us. We cannot afford that." But some people, some young talented people also came to me. So I also have big plans for next year. Now this year would be very cool, but I also expect like a big step up for next year.
Right. Yeah. Sounds good. So, when did you've mentioned the team became final essentially a week ago when the last players got their visas, but maybe can you introduce the players and say a word or two about each of them?
Okay, yeah, for sure. So with who to start first? With the two who helped me to choose the list, basically. So one is called Shun. Shun is our Eldar player, or I should better say our Inari player, because it's like so lists now are done, so I can talk about it.
Yeah.
It's basically playing 1,000 point of Drukery in the Eldar list. So yes, don't throw it, please. It's
Nice.
like that. And he's amazing. He's a very, very good Eldar player. He played that a lot, and he's destroying most of us. So yeah, we count on him a lot. The second guy that helped me to make the selection is Sapien. Sapien is our Granite player. He's also an amazing guy and very, very nice. Like I encourage everyone to have a talk with him and during the game. It's really funny. Third one, Tifan. Tifan is our young hope. So he's like something like 20 or 21, playing Necrons, and he's destroying everyone too. It's like, this guy is crazy. He's still studying. He was in Australia like 1 month ago. He came back, and now in the team. It's amazing. We have Lawrence. Lawrence is playing Orc, so he basically only play Orc, or he play also Admech, but recently Admech is not so popular, or at least he did not play it a lot.
It's
so
not
he's
cheap,
playing
is it,
Orc.
either to buy?
Yes,
I
yeah,
can
it's what he
imagine it's
told me.
expensive in China.
And it's horrible to transport as well. So
Yeah.
It's exactly what he told me. At some point, he told me, yeah, maybe I can try Admech, but basically I have to buy almost 2,000 points of a new army of Admech, because what I played is not at all what is good now. So I was like, okay, just play Orc if you like it. And he always managed to do some magic with his Orc that we don't all understand, but he's like that. We have David. David is playing CSM. In this one, so he's a big Chaos adept. So he was playing Nurgle before. Now he switched to CSM with a new codex, which is what thing that is cool is so David is an expat like me, and he's from Ireland. So we have them in the pool, which is kind of cool.
Oh, nice. Bit of grudge match.
Yeah, exactly. And in this optic, we also have Al, who is playing for us as a Blood Angel player. And Al is an expert from Ireland and South Africa. So I believe he got South African origin. So it's like so cool we have them in the pool. We are very happy about the pool. And the third one is...
I'm going to say you picked the pool very well.
Yeah, exactly. And third one is England. So England, of course, all the guys are very excited about meeting them.
Nice.
Where did I stop in my list? David, Al... if I forget some of them, they will kill me. Chris, we have two Chris. In fact, this is why I forget about them. Two Chris, and the two Chris, we have Chris A. I would say Chris A is playing Toe. He's from the south of China, so he play a lot with the guys that are rising in the south of China. He's a very great player and also very lovely. Like, share a beer with him, he will be more than happy about that. And we have Chris B. Chris B is our World Eater player, and he's also a big one-trick pony on World Eater. He's playing a lot of it. He knows the army like by heart.
That helps.
That definitely helps. You need to get a lot of games in with them to deliver the results.
Yes, they were very what's the word? They're on a nice edge in terms of like if you they can be really easy to punish if you misplay, but they're also very effective if you play it correctly. So it's interesting.
It's an army that you really need to play a lot, I believe, to be able to know what is going on with every other matchup, with every table scenario and so on.
So this is your whole playing roster, yeah? I think that's eight people if I can do math.
Yeah.
My question is, I think you might have mentioned it, I can't remember, is have you practiced against any other teams? So like what we do, for example, we do a lot of scrims on TTS, etc. Is this something that China's been involved in heavily, or is it more internally that you've been practicing?
Yeah, we have done scrims. Basically, we started doing scrims because South Africa captain contacted us, and I was like, okay, let's try. So we did the scrims with South Africa. We were like very excited about it because we have no idea what was our level, and I think it goes very well. Like I believe we win, but I don't remember exactly how much, but I know it was not the definitive team of South Africa. It was more like prospects that they want to test.
They're testing, aren't they? Yeah.
But we were still very happy about it. The guys were very excited about how it works. So then we organized one with Norway, and with Norway we did a perfect equality. Like it was 80 against 80.
Oh wow, nice.
Very cool.
And Norway's a good team, very good team, Norway.
Yeah. And they told us that they want really to step up this year, and like they put some pressure on us. We were kind of happy. So the guys get excited, and at that point, I thought, okay, we need also to face big teams to show the guys some humility. And obviously, I got some contacts, so I managed to have a scrims against France, and they destroy us. We don't even end it because I believe we did it like end of May, and it's a moment where all the meta change and the rules and so at the middle of it. So maybe we did half of the game, or maybe 6 over 8. I don't remember exactly. But they just destroy us. So it's kind of positive for me because it show everyone in the team that okay, there is
you need that humility element, don't you?
Exactly.
A little bit of humbling point.
Exactly. Yeah. Preparation is not over. You need to work. You will get beaten by big players, so you still have to progress.
That's actually good.
Sometimes hard with the scrims when there's rules changes introduced in the middle of one, and there's little motivation to finish it, right? Because people want to change this, etc., etc. That's a bit unlucky.
That's a good point. What is your sort of expectation for the year then as a team for this event? Because you're pretty not a new team in essence, but for WTC obviously because it rebranded and then COVID, etc. It is new in essence for China to come to WTC. So a lot of new teams come in and they don't always have the most realistic expectations of what's going to happen. And obviously with your team spending a lot of money, is there any do they have high expectations, or is an expectation like this is our first time, we'll see how we do and then build from there?
Yeah, and then to add to that, before you answer, you've just talking about the scrims, you've just showed that you're no pushovers, right? You're seed 4 because you're newcomers, but that might change after this year. So is there like a target? Okay, we're doing top 10 or whatever.
I hope we not get totally defeated during these events. So the guys are of course very excited and have big ambitions. So maybe I'm kind of the more realistic because I also have the experience of the events from 2014 to 2016, and I have seen how a team as well prepared as France with so many tournament, big events, preparation and experience struggle to reach the top of the event. So I know how high is the step to reach that. For me, my objective, I would say, is like at least one win, at least one win. Then if I want to do something, like what I would be happy with is if we can do first half, I would honestly be so happy. It would be so great for me. First half for a new team is like amazing results.
Yeah, I think that's a really good expectation as well. That's a good thing to measure. I think I've heard teams before say, "Oh, we want to get top 10," and it's like it's not really the most realistic. That's too much pressure. Yeah. But top half, which is there's 40 teams, so the top 20 is definitely. I think it's if you're doing so good as well in terms of your preparation and your practices, then it's definitely achievable.
It would be amazing, honestly. Top 20, I would be so happy.
For me, watching all the newer teams come in is a lot more exciting than watch all the better teams play because you have no idea what they're going to achieve. So we had New Zealand last year came in and did really well. South Africa didn't do as well, but they were a very exciting team to watch. A lot of teams didn't know how they would pair and things like that. So watching new teams come in, it breathes fresh life, I would say, to the already sort of like older teams that are just, consistent. So I'm very excited to watch you guys actually.
Yeah, especially when there are so many team events in Europe nowadays and people are traveling across the different countries. It's like watching the same people play all the time. It might not be that.
It's also the prospect of a completely different approach to the game and a new meta. You live in a sort of isolated area. Most of us are European or American. So when we all play, we play in our little bubbles, despite it being massive because it's Europe, for example. But we play the game in a certain way, I would say, and that trickles down obviously as more countries combine. But then when you get someone from China, you'll have maybe a different way to approach the game, a different thought process, which helps improve all the other teams as well over time. As we learn from you, you learn from us, and that also for me is an exciting thing. So I'm keen to see.
Yeah, there is definitely a local meta. Like we are aware of that because nowadays, which is very different from when I was doing ETC 10 years ago. Almost, it's like nowadays on internet you have access to so many informations about who is winning event, what are the lists, and things like that. So we can identify that we have local meta and differences. At the same time, when I look at the list, I think that we are not out of meta. We don't have anything that are so out of it. We don't have Southern Sons or Sisters that are very popular, but it's basically because we lack the players to play them. Or I could also say that it's volunteer, and that's because everyone prepare for them. We choose to not play them, but it wouldn't be true. We basically just do not have players for that. But I believe our lists are not out of meta. I agree with you that there is a local meta. Like what was funny for me is that I went back to France like in like 2 or 3 months ago, and there was a big team event, and I went there to see some friends, and I was looking at the list, and I was like, it doesn't look at all with what we are playing here.
This is so foreign.
yeah, it's really so funny. At the same time, some of the things that we wanted to play and we did not play are also things that we see in the WTC. For example, we talk a lot with our top player about Tiger Shark, which was one big topic, and it was like, hey guys, I have seen something. It's maybe a good idea to do that.
Did you take
no one will think about it and things like that. And at some point, I was telling him, and your Tiger Shark, everyone is talking about it. It's rule on the Discord, so it's like everyone's have seen it.
Did you take one in the end?
No, we don't take
one. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like I keep seeing this on Discord. One person will pop up and like, oh, I've had this amazing idea, mind blowing, Tiger Shark. Another person's like, yeah, I took one last week, and yeah, it's like the biggest not so big secret of just Tiger Sharks at all. But I think I think there's a couple of them being taken to WTC as well. So, but they won't perform anywhere near as we'd expect, I imagine. Who knows? Oh, we could be wrong. Then they might be amazing. We'll find out.
Yeah. If it manages to enter the board, then
yeah, exactly.
Maybe
actually,
this is basically why we did not bring it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the greatest rule set, if I'm honest. The aircraft stuff, but some people might find some magic.
Yeah, so I was going to ask about the meta, but you've kind of answered it all already. But in your opinion, are your lists like closer to what the general public has? So stuff you see on your Goonhammers weekly, etc., or are they more whack like Australian lists?
No, I believe it looks a lot like what we see on Goonhammer and things like that. Sometimes we get surprised, like because there are still, even if we have bigger events now, there is still this phenomenon of little pockets of player playing. And especially when we do team events, sometimes one of them just bring a list that we are like, okay, it's very different, and let's see how it works. And usually it's good ideas. Like these guys do good things, because what is funny is that some of these players that play together in small clubs, some of them really play a lot. Like some of them are really very invested in the game, playing many games. and have high level that they develop in just small community. And when they go, usually when you play like that, from my experience, when you reach bigger tournaments, you just like your level collapse because in fact you don't know too many other factions or other play styles or something like that. But some of these guys are really really good like that. And
sorry, go on. We couldn't finish.
One thing I wanted to say too is you talk about the event in Europe, the fact that now it's a more national events in Europe, international events in Europe. Like what I hope in the future is that we also can develop this kind of thing in Asia, because we see that now we have South Korea team coming, we have Singapore and Thailand. I have been in contact with one guy in Japan that want to bring a team too. So all these destinations are not so far at the level of Asia, which is like basically 3 or 4 hours of plane, but it's still fine. So if we can organize things like that, it would be amazing.
That would be awesome, because like we have this kind of thing in Europe. I know America is starting to build out this, and it helps a lot. It helps not only for each country to sort of bridge the gap, but it also helps people learn from each other. So you being able to grow Asia as a more centralized 40K destination would be fantastic, honestly.
Then question make the WTC more interesting as well, right?
Exactly. We don't want to see the same. Yeah, we don't want to see the same teams in the top 5 every year. We want to see more diversity and other teams get closer, and we want to see more a wider metric, I would say. My question to you, actually, because I've been wondering, when you play locally, what kind of terrain do you use? Do you use WTC predominantly, or do you have like Games Workshop open kind of terrain, or do you constantly practice in the WTC style?
So I believe it's my fault, but now it's almost WTC in every big event.
That's a good thing though, because if you're going to go to the event, they'll learn, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like because my idea from the beginning was to build the team to bring it to WTC. Any event I organized in Shanghai was using WTC rules pack and terrain and map pack and things like that. In China, we can find a terrain pack for WTC that are kind of good and not very expensive. Oh, they're expensive, but not that much. So we equipped like the club where I do events in Shanghai by itself. We have enough for 30 table now, and every tournament we buy new ones to be able to organize to increase the size. So yeah, it's costly investment, but also like we have nice tables, nice thing to do. So it's basically nowadays I think most of it is WTC.
Okay,
that's really cool.
There are 2 other things you've mentioned I wanted to follow up on. So the first one being, you've mentioned that people organize team events as well, but did they participate in your event first, or did they get the idea on their own?
I believe some of them came to the first event. Like I know that the first team event we did in Shanghai, we had team from the south and from the north. We also have some tournament organizers from the south at some point that came just to see how it happened, how it worked, and things like that. I discussed with them a lot. And now, like the last team event we also have team from south and north. But basically, why it's important is like because you need to consider the fact that when I'm saying that we are in Shanghai and we go to events in Guangzhou or in Beijing, every time it's like 2 hours and a half of plane. It's kind of far away. So it's almost international in every other country, but for us it's just local. So we have a few people that are passionate enough to move from city to city to do this kind of thing. And yes, I believe that it starts with the first event, it get popular, and now like different cities have the scene living by themselves, and this is perfect. Maybe at some point we'll start to have some kind of national championship or something like that. We can always get, but let's start. We have ambitions for this community.
Baby steps, right?
Yeah, it sounds like you've got interest as well, so hopefully that works out. And the other thing I wanted to ask, did you manage to get like any boot camps given the geographical challenges? So like getting all of the team together in one place for a weekend and just playing until you die of fatigue.
No, unfortunately, we were not able to do that. Also because like work is also kind of complicated for some of our players, and because like we did team event together, but no boot camp is kind of complicated to make people come for this kind of thing. In fact, when some of them want to travel and to do a big travel like that, and they need to use holidays days, maybe on Friday and one day, they prefer to do it for a team event. So I try to organize events instead of bootcamp. It's not.
Yeah,
I
I
know
can
it's not exactly the
see.
same thing and not the same result, but it's also not the same pleasure for everyone.
Yeah,
no.
I can see with like China being so big. Yeah, there's definitely logistical issues. It's just, I think US have the same issue. It's a bit easier in Europe because obviously our countries are a lot smaller. But like US have the issue where if they want to, some people might be in New York and some people might be in Texas. It's a day, one or 2 days they got to take off in order to meet the team. So they can definitely feel your problem there, I guess. So but you've also got TTS, right? You can do it
Yeah,
online.
exactly.
Yeah, Discord, TTS, it makes it a lot easier. It's not as good as being in person, but you've definitely got options.
Yeah. We can at least play together, and that's enough. And
Yeah.
also because people, if they are here, is because also they have a local community with who they can do pairings and sparing games and things like that. So I don't worry about that.
Nice.
Okay. So are you guys also playing the War Master, the singles event? I mean, you've mentioned that you yourself are playing, but what about the other people? Are they playing or like taking the time off to not be too fatigued during the main event, so to speak?
All of us. We are all
Nice.
going. So yes, it will be a nightmare in terms of fatigue, especially because one thing that's I told them they have to consider, and that will be a nightmare for us, is that most of us will be jet lag, which is big jet lag for us. So I know that US team or Canadian teams can know that. Mexico also this year. So some of them will be very tired, but they are also very excited about War Master and about playing in a 500 players event.
500 players, yeah, 500 players this year.
At no point I even ask myself about should I tell them not to play. If they want to play, just enjoy the game. There is nothing to win except pleasure. So go have fun.
It's good that you mentioned the jet lag actually, because I think if they play, it gives them something to do, a way to deal with the jet lag as well.
Yeah,
And
it's not easy.
plus, plus it's good practice for them. They can use this as a way to sort of see what Europeans and some Americans, etc., play like, and then it's good practice. They'll be fatigued, but it's the first event. If they're excited, let's do it. Go and smash some Europeans.
Yeah. Just have fun, just enjoy. It's what I told them from the beginning. It's also related to what you say about expectations. I was like, yes, we are. Of course, we can have ambition and stuff like that, but basically, if you spend that much money on something where basically you have nothing to win in the end except prestige or something like that, just enjoy, have fun, and that's it.
And learn as well. Learn what everyone else is.
For sure.
How everyone plays and they see the game. Sure. Yeah, it's a cool idea. I like it. Nice. Any more questions?
Yeah, I've got the comedy relief question that we have to ask as part of the show here. So this year we're doing national dishes. Last year it was bird combat, which
it was what?
Bird I enjoyed combat? It, but then people hated it. Yeah.
Bird combat.
Bird combat. So you didn't even listen to the episodes last year.
I made it through most of them. I don't think I got to the bird combat part. I kind of wish I did now, actually. What do you mean bird combat?
Well, we usually had we asked about the like national bird of a country, and then
their national bird is a dragon.
And if the bird could compete against, like, I don't know, another bird from another country, like a New York pigeon or something like that.
Nothing beats a New York pigeon.
Let's not go back into that then, but because this year's theme's different. So I was surprised that Google actually has a national dish for China, and it's the Peking duck. Have you lived there long enough to agree or disagree?
It's it's complicated because so China is so big that you have
That's what I would
local
think.
country local dishes everywhere in every province of China. So I believe that we have also the dim sum from Guangzhou are very popular. So Beijing duck, of
Kung Pao
course.
chicken is also
Yes,
amazing.
exactly.
So what would
So
be
many good things.
the
But
regional
yeah,
dish for where you are in Shanghai?
from where I am, so in the I'm living just close to Shanghai in a city called Suzhou, which is wonderful, and there is something that is called a squirrel fish, which is a fish that they prepare in some way with some fry and fry thing on it, and it's kind of orange squirrel fish. You can
Did
say
you say
like
squirrel?
like the animal, like the
As
squirrel that
like a
go in
squirrel,
that go in a tree.
but it's you don't
and
eat the squirrel.
No,
no,
it's
it's a
the
fish.
fish ate the squirrel.
But
I have to look at this because squirrel
No, I
fish. I've never
googled
heard
it
of
as
that.
well.
I don't know if you call that
Okay.
in English, but
No,
No,
yeah,
no.
the shape,
I see.
the color,
They
and thing
make
like that.
it the shape of there's a dish here where they've made the fish into the shape of
Yeah,
a squirrel. Very clever.
in some way, yeah. It's really good to eat. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of sweet.
I sometimes I always like the idea of the prospect of going to China and visiting, but then I hear about some things that they eat and I'm like, I'm not sure I'll survive there. They're very they are very what's the word? Innovative in their dishes, I would say.
Oh yeah. Honestly, it's been like more than 8 years now. I'm living in China, and still
Yeah.
nowadays, many times that I prefer not to know what is in the dish. I'm not even wondering. I'm just like, okay, let's taste it. If it tastes good, I'm okay with it. It doesn't matter.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, do you speak Chinese?
Yeah. Not
Okay.
not totally fluently, but yeah,
Good enough.
good enough.
Oh, that's really cool. That's cool. We'll not ask you to speak any, don't worry. But
No worries.
that's nice. So I'm just sending Joker a picture of squirrel fish.
Yeah, it's the sight to look at.
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
last question: do you have any social media pages that people can follow Team China on? Any sponsors you want to thank, mention, anything of that sort?
We do not have any social media. Maybe one day we will develop as we develop the team, but also because access in China on some social media are complicated. Like Chinese have their own social media, basically.
Mhm.
In terms of, we also do not have any sponsors to thank, but it's also some big thing, especially because in China, I believe that we can expect to have sponsor for games, for like esports is very developed here, so these kind of games maybe are more easy to get subsidies and things like that. Maybe one day we can do that. It's also definitely something we need to work on, and I expect that I hope at least that when the team grow up and we get more experience, we also get more time to invest into that, because time is always the scarce resource.
Factor, yeah.
Yeah. To get up. So big thanks to you to allow me to introduce what is 40K in China, what is the team, and yeah.
No, the pleasure's all ours, and we're looking forward to seeing you there in Mechelen.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be great.
Yes, we will. It'd be good actually between the rounds is to give you a little interview with you, figure out how your team is doing, how are they enjoying it, get a little bit of feedback from you as well. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Do you agree, Joker? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
definitely try and do that. That's what we do at the event there. So we pull people in and ask them more uncomfortable questions.
Yes.
Just as long as you have a spare Team China T-shirt, then you can come on and
Oh,
chat.
so I warned the guys. I warned the guys in advance. I told them, okay, we bring T-shirts, but first we need very cool T-shirts because it's a tradition that people want to use T-shirts. And I told
You
them,
have the coolest t-shirts.
oh, that's awesome. Thank you. And I told them, take a lot of them, like, because people will want to swap. And if you want to keep some for you, bring a lot of them. Yeah.
And dice. We want to swap dice.
And dice. Oh,
Yeah.
you want to see them? I got it.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Sure.
Has it got a dragon on?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. Oh my god, that is
Yeah.
amazing.
It's written
That's
China on it.
definitely One of the best
Oh my
ones.
gosh. Yeah, that is by far.
I
Wow,
will
that's
Same.
amazing.
sure steal one from somewhere. So
Come to me. I will be very happy to give you one.
Oh man, that would be amazing. As to the collection, that is the coolest dice ever. Cool.
indeed.
Well, thank you for your time. This has been the most exciting one I've seen so far. China being like obviously an unknown, it's nice to get to know a little bit more about your community, how you're preparing. It's been really good. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we are all very excited to come, and yeah, I'm sure it will be an amazing event.
Excellent. We'll be wrapping up. So once again, thank you to our sponsors, Weyland-Yutani and the Army Painter, as well as our community of patrons. And make sure you tune in to the next episode of Round Zero Pairings whenever it comes up. Thank you and bye-bye.
Goodbye.